Welcome to the expert talk about job skilling in rural areas. The speaker of today is Cavin Odera, the director of Wawa Kenya. And they already successfully trained 500 women in 16 women groups on poultry, on fashion design, on table banking, fish farming. And the current project that we are supporting is one on beauty parlor. The topic of this expert talk is on how to form the groups successfully so that they can learn and thrive in a profession as well as an income generation. Have fun listening.
Good afternoon, good morning, good night, everyone, wherever you are. My name is Cavin Odera and I work for Wawa. Wawa in full is Wanawake Wavuvi. Wanawake, that is a Swahili translation. When you try to translate it in English, it becomes fisher women. And many times people are asking us, like, we've never seen women fishing. Why do you call them fisher women? And then we always tell them that our tagline as Wawa Kenya is turning tables around Lake Victoria. We want to do the imaginables, things that people have never done, because there is nowhere written that women cannot row the boat and go get fish from the lake. And that's what suggests the name. Actually, right now we've trained, before COVID, we trained about 6 women who are now fishing. They can go with the boat to the lake and get fish. That is just but a small introduction of why Wawa was started. Actually, we are found in the rurals of Oma Bay, where we basically work with the women from rurals and from slums. Now, back to our topic of today, introduction to smart skills for rural development. I don't know whether you can write, I'll be asking some questions as we move along, and the best place to respond, maybe you can just put them at the chat box. Like, for example, right now, if you hear a word like smart, what comes into your mind? If you are kind enough, you can put up your answer on the chat box, and either Martha or an American, at some point you'll be able to read for us the text from the chat box. Okay. Do you have any response from the chat box? What do you understand by the word smart?
James, Solomon, what are you thinking? Wawa?
Jen wants to try. Jen.
From my thinking, it's like smart initials of if you are drafting your objectives as an organization, they should be smart, measurable,
yeah, acceptable.
yeah. Yeah, and time bound. I think that's what it means. I don't know, I've missed one letter, but I think that's what it means.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for your feedback. We are adults and all feedbacks are always correct. Now, I don't know whether I've skipped. Can you see on top of, yeah, I can see it now. Ours is a bit different. Can someone read for me like the headline written in blue? Because I can't see it from where I am.
The purpose of the smart skills chain.
The purpose?
Of the smart skills chain.
The purpose of smart skills. I think we are supposed to be in the other slide, not this one.
If I should share it, if that's easy, that's also okay. Now it says general content.
Yes, and this is what I needed. Yeah. So, Jen, thank you for your response. But here we have SMART as skills for marketing and rural transformation. That's the SMART we are talking about here. Skills for marketing and rural transformation. So someone will ask you, why do we try to bring like marketing and in rural setup? You see, like for the organization that are dealing with people who are from the rurals, whether women, men, or young people, we need sometimes to give them the knowledge that they need, even if they didn't go to school. Like, for example, we are dealing with the women who didn't go to school, but they still need these skills. Because for them to start and run a project or a business, they will need some basic skills. And this is why I will feel like this topic is very, very relevant for both of us who are running an organization, whether in rural or in urban setup. So Smart Skills Manual, at the end of this training, this session, we'll be able to do the introduction to smart skills for rural development. We'll be able to organize and manage groups. We'll be able to understand beneficiaries that you're working with, their problems, understanding beneficiaries and their needs. You need to analyze the need because you can't just go and tell your beneficiary that today we want to do a project, maybe drilling a bowl. This is not what they want. So you will be doing it, and then at the end of the day, even 10 years later, they will be referring to that water project as wow. I've had like some instances where you go to a place, they were told to dig the toilets, but they don't use the toilets. They are saying like that toilet is for such and such an organization, which is not good. So which means that the need was not analyzed. And then the 7 steps of marketing, which is very key. And then last but not least, promoting innovation. Innovation now becomes like the main important thing here, because many times we do things the same way, but we expect different results. And sometimes it doesn't work well for both of us. Now, I don't know why sometimes it is not, okay, there we are. So the purpose of this Smart Skills chain is to introduce you to the following 5 skills areas, which are very, very key. You know, we know the problems that comes with the group. So point number 1, it's group management and organization. We know all the steps that one must go through if you want to start a group. We have group formation. We have when the norm, they now come together. They now understand the objective why the group was started. But at the beginning, they are very agitated. They really want to start this group. And at some point, each and every person wants to fight with each other because they feel like they are cramming for leadership. I want to be the chair. I want to be what? And then at the end of the day, you might as well end up losing a majority of the members of this group. So we have all the group formation steps, which we may share later. And then we have resource management. Now that we have the groups, perhaps when you are forming the groups, you told them, or it's a norm that they have to bring like a registration fee of 100 shillings or $1. And so what becomes of that? How is that going to be managed? They need to know how the skills of resources, how they can manage their resources. And then the finance. They should know more about the finance. This money came in and this money went out to do 1, 2, 3 things. Are they keeping their records? So next time, who is going to give us the money? How are we going to sustain the money that we are going to get with or without a donor? And then marketing. Many at times we start doing things with the groups, but then when, for example, you start preparing the land, you plant, you weed, and you do all the things, you spray. And then when it comes to harvesting, you harvest, you don't know where to take this produce, and then you end up like going at a loss because you didn't know where to take the produce. So marketing is also very key to take your group through. And then innovation. Now that we have our produce, whether it is maize or what can we do? Is it a must that we have to sell it just like maize in the market? Or we can try even to do like a value chain addition so that we can have something that people do not have in the market. If it's marketing, must you just take your product in the market, the local market, or you can still find your way out and then you take them somewhere where you are going to sell them at a good price? Those are the purpose of smart skill that we are going to discuss today. And then we have general content, the 6 phases, using a skill-based approach, which is very, very important. Then a closer look at the skills. How can you get close to know the skills that are needed during when you're using this manual? Then organizing the team. It's very important. If you don't organize them, they are going to fail, or the group is going to fail. And when they fail, your community fail, your beneficiaries fail, or for lack of a better word, or participants. Then working with the community, which is very key. Without the community, then there is no security for the projects that you're doing. Without the community, there is no community acceptance for the project and the business that people are doing in the community. And then ensuring sustainability with or without WAWA, the project should be running. And then building training plan. It's very important because you are going to train this group this week or this month or this year. The next year you need to build on the training plan that you already have. So it keeps on changing. What we used to train like women on fashion and design last year is not what we are going to use to train women on beauty parlor. Maybe it can be the same, but it's a bit advanced, pegged on the challenges that we faced back then. And then the outcomes at the end of this workshop, you should be able to list the main skills that groups of participants need to improve their livelihood. I'm pretty sure that when I'm talking to us here, each and every person is thinking of their groups that they're working with. So at the end of the day, you should be able to list all the skills that the group participants need to improve in. If you are doing a Kuku project, if you're doing table banking, if you're doing fashion and design, if you're doing poultry, if you're doing pig farming, you should be able to know all the skills that you may be able to train them in. And then explain why participants need a combination of skills. We came to realize, or we are going to realize that one skill is never enough. And that's why it's good to combine. For us, we are using for example, we are using a curriculum called Hope, Step, and Jump. So, Hope, you have to bring them together, teamwork, they need to know each other, confidence should be improved. And then when it gets to Step, that's when each and every participant goes to their respective classes. If you are for fashion and design, if you are for fish farming, you go and get the real skills that you need. And then Jump, this is where you have to introduce and train your participants in things to do with entrepreneurial skills, marketing, management, all these things. So that's why we call it like combination of the skills. It should not just be one skill because it's never enough. It's never enough. And then the last one is outline the model of change used in this and related courses or the areas that you are going to train them in. Is there any question, or I'm going very fast? Anyone with a question?
No questions in the chat yet, but of course,
okay.
Speak.
But my answers are in the chat box, right? That I asked before. So now we get to 5 types of skills. And these skills, the need for multiple skills. Like I've said, why do we need multiple skills? I may be good in poultry farming, but do I know how to sell? Do I have marketing skills? Am I a business person? Did I go through business training so that I know how to sell, how to calculate the loss, the profit before I start doing my business, selling my product? And the benefit of multiple skills for project initiation, management, and scaling. Those are the skills that we are going, all these points that I'm mentioning, we are going to meet them as we continue. And then smart skills in development projects. And the last one is 6 aspects of development project. Types of skills. I was supposed to ask a question, but I'm not asking. Group organization. Why do you think that group organization skill is very necessary when you are running an organization? It is a question you can unmute, you answer, or if you are not able to talk, you can throw it in the chat box. Why do you think group organization is important? Should I mention names? I'm going to be a bad teacher now. Jen. Jen.
Jen, you mean Genesis, or whom are you talking about now, please?
Oh, Jen is not around.
Okay.
Okay, Solomon.
Solomon says experience sharing in the chat.
Oh, experience sharing, thank you. Who else want to try? Why do you think group organization is a vital skills when you're running an organization?
Yeah, let me say something. I think this is Genesis talking.
Okay.
I think one of the key aspects of group organization is for team building. You know, when you don't build a solid team, and it is impossible for you to. It is going to play on your organizational progress if the team is not united. So it is important for team building, and also so that we can be able to see the gaps and also be able to close those gaps. That's one of the aspects of group organization.
Thank you very much. So when you don't organize the group, you may not be able to contain them. So it's very important to know how the group is running, even though you are, because for us, let me tell you, share with you something, how we work with our groups. We call them the groups applicability to our. So you ensure that you go sit down with them and let the ideas come from them. Anything they are doing, let them come up with them so that you don't impose. They don't see you as if you are imposing things on them. I don't know whether it's called top-up approach, bottom-up approach, I think. So it's very, very important, just like Genesis has said. And then we have another skill, which is very, very important, managing resources. Many groups, when they don't have the resources, they are very good. They keep time when it comes to group meetings. They have all the necessary documents, but when they get any source of funding, they split. So they split because the organization was not well set. And so each and every person would want to get their share, and then they run away. And that will be the end of the group. So it's very important to manage all the resources they have, whether money or land or whatever thing. It's very, very important for them. So you need to know how the skills so that you go and share with them. And then managing finances. This one, at some point, it is not only enough for treasury. you can also apply, you connect them with your finance officer who will then guide them on how to keep books. Actually, we have some of our groups that we even train them how to keep their books, the bank books and the cash books. So when we go, we just check, and then they know there is a bit of transparency and accountability in the group. And then marketing, just like I've said, we must have someone in the group who his or her work is basically just to market, to do marketing and innovation. When something is up to date, find a way on how you can advance on it. That is how and when you'll remain relevant in the group and in the organization. Now, benefits of multiple skills for rural participants. Why do we, like I said before, it's the good thing is that all this that I'm saying, at some point I mentioned them when we were starting. So why do we need multiple skills for rural participants? Food security. So we see, like when you have multiple skills, you'll know how to grow various kinds of food or crops or plants. You can have like poultry. I'm seeing in this poultry farming. I'm seeing in this presentation. You can combine it with the fish. How you make fish feed on the poops or the poops of the chicken. It's still agribusiness. It's multiple skills. You have someone wants to say
droppings. Something? We call it droppings too. Yeah.
The drop. Okay, you have them feed on the droppings, and so we can also have the pigs, which can also feed on the droppings of the chicken, right? And so that is one of the benefits of multiple skills. So you have food security is well taken care of. And then the income, you have income from the chicken, you have the income from pigs, you have the income from fish, and then your bucket is always full. These are some of the knowledge that we need to share with the communities that you are serving and most of the participants that you are working with. I will take, for example, what we are doing with the fashion and design. We started making dresses, the African dresses, and then another idea came of how we can make like the African jewelries. So you see, like women who started with only like tailoring skills, now they can also make the jewelries. Those are the benefits of having multiple skills. So they can earn from the dresses and they can also earn from the jewelries. And then the organization. So when everything is set, then organizing these groups becomes even much better. Working with neighbors and to solve problems. So you don't have to go as an organization or a partner, you go down to the group to solve, because already we have mediators in those groups. And then sustainability, like we always say, the organization is here today, tomorrow is not there. Impact Direct is here with us today, tomorrow they're not there, they are with other people. So will remain to stand the test of time, even without the donors. These are some of the things that we need to share with our beneficiaries, I mean participants, or the organization or the groups that you are working with. And then scaling up. You started with 10 chicken. Is there a possibility that you are going to grow? You are going to add them to 100 to 200. It's good to start with only one single skill, but as time goes by, you add many other skills so that you scale whatever thing you are doing, you scale it up. Now, this one, I think it's a question. We have this aspect of development project. Like I said, I don't want to sound like a teacher, a facilitator. I want us to interact. So the aspect number one is drivers of change. Genesis, what do you think of this?
Well, when you look at when you're talking about drivers of change, you are trying to look at those things which can easily facilitate or enhance an intervention which you are putting up. You know, we can talk about the motivation. For instance, we can be talking about the motivation of the persons who are involved. We can be talking about the environment, and we can also be talking about access to market. And we can also talk about opportunities that can enhance the intervention or the activity in which they are involved in. Just to name a few of that.
Oh, thank you very much. Arizon, what do you understand when someone tells you context and client type?
Context and
client types as an aspect of development. Arizon, are you still together?
Yes, hello?
Yes, I'm asking.
Yes.
What do you understand when someone says context and client type as an aspect of development?
Yes, when we are talking about context, we are talking about on relationship between I and a customer. On which basis? How do we relate, and on what matters? Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Hilary, I've not heard from you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm okay. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Can you assist us, like when you come across types of intervention as an aspect of development, what do you understand?
Okay, so well, basically for me, what I will say is that there are, in Ghana, we say that there are so many ways to kill a cat.
Yeah.
So you choose which way to kill the cat. So the types of interventions are an array or a choice of or options that you have from which you can decide to approach the situation. But that usually is informed by your understanding of the situation, or from your zero measurement data that informs the kind of intervention that you may want to choose. Yeah, so basically that's what I would say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Hilary. And Jackie, how are you? And I know you are going to respond like as you answer. What do you understand the transfer brokers or transfer brokers as an aspect of development?
Hi, everybody. Hi, Cavin. I'll try and answer, but according to my understanding, I think probably these are, I'll term them as agents,
Yeah.
That are used to move maybe or to implement whatever activities or whatever it is that we want to transfer from one place to the other or move from one place to the other.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Jonathan, we have behavior change as an aspect of development. What comes to your mind?
Yeah, so when you say behavior change as an aspect of development, then you refer to addressing social problems that are connected to behavior. the solutions are connected to behavior, then you have to apply behavior change strategies so that you can help the changing of behavior and which triggers to development. So they cannot develop until their behavior have been changed. And for you to change the behavior, then there are specific strategies that are always used to make sure that the behavior is changed. I think that is what I understand.
Okay, thank you very much. And last but not least, William, we have desired outcome as an aspect of development. What do you think? What comes into your mind? Hello, William. If William is not there, Solomon, you are next to William. Maybe you can assist. Desired outcome as an aspect.
Yeah, desired outcome is what we expect to see when we put in an intervention. Yeah. For instance, when we have a problem statement and you put in your strategy to overcome it, then what the results that you receive from the strategy you put in place to solve that problem, that will give you the desired outcome. So desired outcomes are the let's say project output, what you want to see at the end of putting an intervention to a particular program.
Okay, thank you very much. You will understand, you'll come to realize that we've covered almost everything that you are supposed to cover in this presentation, because we have illustrations of which now we have the answers with us. Now he's just going through them like drivers of change. We have the demographics. Someone would ask you, why do you want to know? Why do you need to know like the demographics of the people you're working with? You need to know their age. What else? You can write them on the chat box when you talk about the demography. The national and local patterns of economy. In every setup, in every setup of rural setup, we have different patterns of economic growth. And then we have infrastructures. If you are doing maize in a rural area, will you be able to get the produce into the market using the roads that are there? Are they seasonal roads? Are they pathetic, the feeder roads? You have to put those ones into consideration. Markets, where am I going to sell my produce after? We have them already. The government policies, some policies will motivate the players. Some of them will not. Like, for example, right now, if you talk about like growing wheat, the price of fertilizer is way too high. Will you still be able? Those are the policies that we need the government to work on. Then stability. Are you doing it today? Tomorrow you'll also do it, or you are doing it only today and tomorrow it's gone. The large-scale investment, you start as a small scale, you grow into a large-scale thing. And that is the scaling up that I was talking about, the climate condition. Don't try to plow the land when the weather is not good enough. So you have to also liaise with people who can then help you to read the weather. And then, so we have male and female participants, that is under demography. And that is the context and a client type. We have single and married, old and young participants. We have very poor participants, landless people, participants with no assets, widows and orphans, people in remote areas, people from different. So in a nutshell, you need to know your clients and type of people that you're dealing with. And sometimes you can mix. It's okay if you have all the ways on how you can do these things, because at some point you cannot mix the age groups. Sometimes also if you're doing a project with women and men together, it will bring chaos. So find a way on how you can do these things in a very smart way so that you always remain to be an expert. asset transfer, technologies, food and money, you need to know how best can you apply or deploy technologies to do something that not everyone is doing it here, but then again, you bring like new ideas using technologies and how you can produce more and stable food for food security purposes. And then skills training, it's also important, again, to always train your groups on savings, on loans, on marketing, on production, and innovation. Service linkage, if you're doing agriculture, try to bring extension workers, officers, to give you some more experience and knowledge for the group that is doing, for example, who are farmers. Then public works, roads are very important. So these are the stakeholders. So these are all these that I've mentioned. These are the types of intervention that are needed. So at some point, not all the time, you'll realize that some players remain to be stakeholders whom you cannot work without in the community that you're working in. They support in one way or another. And then transfer of go-betweens.
Please, Kevin, can you to go back a while, please? I'm sorry for intervening.
It's okay.
Can you go back to the slide to before?
This one?
Yeah, the other one, please. Before this one.
This one?
Context and client type, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, because I was trying to look at it. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, everyone, for taking us back, please.
It's okay, it's okay.
Yes, you talked about context and client type, but I see that we have defined here more of the client type, not talking about the context. So I think one of the things that we need to understand about the context is looking at as we are looking about time and space. Context is in time and space. When is the activity taking place? That's what you try to look at the time the activity is taking place. Also look at the space. Where is it situated? And we are looking at because we talk about the enabling factors, which you said in the first slide. When you look at the enabling factors, we are also supposed to look at the context. When are we doing it? Is it appropriate? Let me just give for example that we are doing an activity like we are doing farming. Is it during the rainy season or in the dry season? When like for us, we have rainy season and dry season. Is it appropriate at the time that we are doing it? So I'm just trying to call our attention to the fact that when you talk of context, we are talking about the time and space. When is it taking place? When is the action taking place? Sorry, please. Thank you.
It's okay. Thank you very much for the contribution. Like I said, we are learning, all of us, we are learning here. So if you have like any input, please feel free to raise your hand, or you can just stop me, because sometimes I'm not looking at that tab of raising hand. And then so we have the transfer or the go-betweens. You'll realize like most of the project or all of the projects that you are starting in the community, you have to ensure that the government plays a role. Why? Why do you think so? Why do you think that it's important for government to play a role in any project you're doing in the community?
Yeah, if I may say it, I don't want us to waste time. Government, we know every intervention which we are taking is a complementary role. We are playing a complementary role to support the government in its policies and programs. So our interventions are within the context of the policies and programs of the government. So the government plays an enabling role in our communities where we are intervening. So that is why we have to have maybe the government services who will be able to tell us how best we can address the needs of the communities to which they are found. Because in some of our contexts, we have government services right up to the grassroots level, where they are supposed to be implementing or giving support or assistance to the various categories of people. And sometimes in our context, we may have ministries of social affairs, we may have Ministry of Women Empowerment, we may have other ministries, and so we need to work with them so that we work in tandem so that we do not replicate efforts which are being made. So I think it is important. That's why I think it is important to my own understanding, please.
Thank you very much. That's a good response. And also, when you talk about the civil society as a go-between, like for example, a good example is other NGOs which are doing more or less the same as what you're doing in the community. So how then can you bring your synergies together so that you can complement what you're doing for the betterment of the community you're working with? It should not be seen as a competition, but as like bringing partnership. I mean, it should be seen like a partnership. And then community volunteers, which is very, very important. When you involve community volunteers, even when you pull out, because donor funding, you know how it works, you've been in this field. When you pull out, then we still have volunteers who are still motivated to do the project. And then private sectors, you can talk to other corporate sectors to support in one way or another. And then we have the behavior change, participants' ability to integrate skills and use of new technology and best practices, development of relationship with markets and service providers, effect of investment in different community segments. You see, all these things about the behavior. Someone once told me, like, you know, me, I cannot read, I cannot, so I cannot do this, so I cannot even try to use a computer. But then again, when I took an initiative of sitting with this person down, 2 months down the line, this dude could use a laptop or a computer. So it's just like, it's a perception. And a perception, you know, it's something that you can persistently work on. And so, like, if you have your participants with the behavior, with some of the behaviors that you need to change to help them change it, you have to work with them persistently, not giving up, and you have to sacrifice your time and doing that. So that when whatever thing you are doing, then you have to incorporate it with technologies, with other ideas, with other techniques that are working. And then we have the desired outcome. After all said and done, what do you intend to see? Diet improvement, like of diet in the community, resilience, hygiene is improved, product prices, product prices changed, growth, we have income, people are earning, women are earning, something that they never used to do. Sustainability projects is running even without you productivity, everyone is productive. That is the desired outcome that you'd want to see. And then, my time is, I think, is up already. Like I told Dina Maria, like this topic, it needs time. That I don't think the time we have is enough. But then again, now that we know what we have, we can still maybe schedule for another time so that you can go through, or else I can still share the slides so that all of us can be able to go through them. So let me just go through this one quickly. Understand the social structure of the community. Now we are now getting into the gist of what we are supposed to know. What you're supposed to know, and the time is not there. So you need to understand the social structure of the community. Don't be like a person, some people call them the rubber stamp organization. You stay in the urban, and then you come to the community, and then you want, like, whatever thing you say is what you want them to do for you. It's like they're doing it for you, they're not doing for them. So you need to understand and the structures of the community you are working in. You know, this one you can only understand when you know the community's strategic plan or the community strategy. You need to know, like, the decision makers in that community, people who went to school, people, women and men, how they work, that's why it's very important to even sometimes go there, sit down with them, do with them with whatever thing they're doing, so that they can feel like you are part of them. They're not imposing, you're not a stranger, you're not a foreigner, you are part of them. It's very, very important. I know you know what I mean. And then we have the project context, initial status of your community. How are they? before you start working with them. The poverty, each living below $2 a day. The long-term problems, is this X for fish? Aiming for growth and increasing assets. That is where you want to be. But at the moment you have, when you encroach, when you went there, when you found them, how are they? And where do you want them to be? Like we always say, have the end and the beginning. You started, but already you have the end and the beginning. In America, if I'm passing, then you just raise your hand and you stop me, okay?
No, please take your time to finalize your story, and then we have some time to have questions. So that's all right.
Okay. Also, it's very important for us to know the community levels. We have the highly vulnerable, we have the vulnerable but viable, we have the market-ready smallholders and the commercial smallholders. So when you understand all these aspects, then you know how you encroach this community, and then you start a project that you want to start. Then categories of partners, we have male and female clients, single and married, very poor, people in remote areas, people from different ages. Those are your partners, the categories of partners that you're going to deal with. Some of them didn't go to school, but they play a very important role in your project and in the community. Lesson 2. In a way, I'm not going to wind up. Let me just wind up in lesson 2. Let me just wind up. Because we have the lesson 2, and I know lesson 3 is something that we had planned, like that is the end of this slide. So our lesson 2 should be like a closer look at the smart skills, where we have, after this lesson, you will be able to name 3 detailed aspects of each of the smart skills, and then describe how individual skills reinforce each other, and then name the 3 central skills. So which means that we have 3 central skills, which are very, very important, and then list additional skills that a farmer, fashion designer may need. So because I don't want us to start something that we are not going to finish right now. So take a closer look at this 5 smart skills. We have group organization. It's something that we had said before. And then we have the marketing. It's like a repetition of what we already had. So in order to work together, a group has to work together in the long term, trust one another, learn to plan, to pick ideas together, and then make important decisions on who is in the group, what are the rules, what will the group invest in, how will the group resolve disagreement, conflict resolution, very, very important in a group. And then we have the selecting members and defining the group purpose, setting goals, holding meetings and writing a constitution, electing management positions, planning and implementing activities. Please, 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 when you're doing all these things, let them do. Your work is just to oversee and you guide. You oversee as you guide. And then basic group management, it continues. Then opening a bank account and managing finances, registering with local authorities and opening bank accounts, having learning processes, having feedback mechanism to assess group performance and progress. Without the feedback, you may not know whether you're doing the right thing or you're in a wrong track. Natural resources management, identify any available natural resources around the community. And then managing finances is something that we said, calculating costs, teach them how to calculate the cost, understanding cash flow. It's very important, predicting income, planning budget, saving money, managing bank accounts. Like I said before, understanding the cost of borrowing money and using loans. You'll find like many of the groups do not like loans. So that's why for us, we decided to work with the tech banking. Because they say like when you borrow, they go for loan as a group, then at some point people will run away and then they'll be tasked to pay that loan. And so they fear that. And the financial skills of saving and loan groups, managing personal and business budgets, establishing group and rules of operation, keeping financial records, agreeing on the amount and regularity of saving and pay out time, managing loan application and loan repayment. So this is more of table banking. This is how it works. Let them sit down. They decide on the interest they want to pay. Don't impose on them. Let them come up with it. And then what will happen? What will work standing as a security? Let them decide on them by themselves. But when you're doing all these things, make sure that the local administration is always there with you, so that you have a backup or a security, just in case someone runs away with money. Then managing capital over the long term, managing investment, registering the group with authorities like we have WEF, Women Enterprise Fund, and many others, reaching agreement of penalties if members. So these are the things that they need to come up with as do's and don'ts. We have the marketing. Small orders farmers can earn more by organizing a group and learning together, gaining from lower input prices, buying in bulk and pooling their produce, gaining better products prices by aggregating their goods and selling larger amounts. Other smaller farmers or whatever can earn more by improving products quality, switching to more profitable products and all that. Then we have partners need skills in organizing groups, selecting products, analyzing market, calculating cost, working with business development services. Key innovation skills include identifying and defining problems, exploring possible solutions, and finding sources of information. The key innovation skills continuation, collecting and recording observations, analyzing and evaluating the results, applying the finding and sharing knowledge. Yes, three central skills that we were talking about are finance, natural resource and management, natural resource management and marketing. And this is how it looks. Innovation. We have finance, we have natural resource management, marketing, group organization. That is how it appears. So those are the three key central skills that are needed in every group setup for a project to remain positive. Other skills that are rural people need, literacy and numeracy, leadership, production method, agricultural processing, nutrition, health. And we have many. Conflict management is very, very key, and gender issues. And I'm going to request Maria if I can stop there. I'm going to share my slides with you, or I will share them with Maria, and then she can share them with all of us. We have challenges, last but not least, the overrated expectations from your participants, and then sometimes theft since you do not know your participants. And so you have to be very careful. I don't want you to travel on the road that we traveled in some months back. Anyway, I think that should be enough for now.
Thank you so much, Cavin, for the great and big presentation.